This is Joey Janela, and if you're listening to this, I suppose you are listening to the Kick Out Podcast, because like me, those guys are some bad boys.
The face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another edition of the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide right here on 90.3 Near FM, the Electronic Media Collective podcast network, and all good podcasting providers. I'm Dave Cullen, and I'm joined by probably the only person looking forward to Brock vs. Jinder, Daragh Maher. Daragh, how are you this afternoon?
Disappointed, Dave.
Probably the only one, though.
AJ Styles, who is inferior to the modern day Maharaja.
Okay.
In every way,
Alright.
is going to be eaten by the beast, and I actually can't continue this gimmick anymore. I'm sorry.
we tried.
I'm sorry. I gave it a good 15-20 seconds.
It was worth it's worth considering the fact that you've been bedridden for the last week and a bit now. So
I know I could be still a little delusional.
Maybe yeah. Flu goes to the head sometimes.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, so that's why we couldn't do a show last week, because unfortunately.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
It's all my fault, guys. It's okay.
How are you feeling now, anyway?
A lot better.
Good.
A lot better. Spent all of most of this week and a lot of the end of last week in bed, contemplating whether or not I'll ever survive.
Well, you're here.
I did survive.
Well.
I'm here.
You're breathing.
I'm breathing. If I apologise in advance if I cough at any stage during the day. I still have the remnants of a cough just left. That's all. But other than that, I'm in tip-top form.
Awesome, well, that's good to hear. Anyway, we're coming to you live from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, and we'll be here for the next 2 hours bringing you all the latest news, results, previews, rumours and more from the world of professional wrestling. On this week's show, as usual, we'll be giving you all the latest news from the world of pro wrestling both here and abroad, reviewing all the past week's action from OTT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE Raw, Smackdown 205 Live and NXT, and I'll also be previewing events coming up from the likes of Pro Wrestling Ulster, Low Blows and OTT. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start with news this week concerning Chris Jericho, probably the biggest news story of probably a year when you think about it. Like considering all, because no one saw this coming.
The most surprising one, anyway.
Definitely, we kind of
thought it was coming, but we didn't think it was going to come.
Really.
Well, I saw this match coming, but I thought it was going to be on his cruise.
Yeah, but no one expected it to be in New Japan, though.
Oh no.
Anyways, obviously the story about Chris Jericho will be wrestling Kenny Omega at the Tokyo Dome for New Japan Pro Wrestling's for New Japan Pro Wrestling on the July 4th on 2018 as part of Wrestle Kingdom 12. Omega retained his New Japan his IWGP United States Heavyweight title against Trent Beretta at the Power Struggle show last Sunday and called out his next challenger, but teased that there was no one left to challenge him. But then Jericho appeared in the video saying that he's the best in the world and the alpha of this business before challenging Omega to a match which Omega accepted. Omega and Jericho, who are both from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, have been engaged in a Twitter feud recently, but it wasn't apparent if it would ever amount to anything. Jericho, of course, has been off the road from WWE and was touring with Fozzy in recent months. He actually was toured as recent as 2 weeks ago, I think, here, didn't he? He was in the Tivoli, actually.
In the Tivoli, yeah. Yeah.
With his most recent WWE match coming when he made a surprise appearance to face Kevin Owens and AJ Styles for the US title at an episode of SmackDown in July.
Yeah, and he was also asked to be the replacement for Bray Wyatt at their tables, ladder, and chairs events before AJ
Oh,
Styles
really?
stepped in to face Finn
Okay,
Balor.
there you go. So it's there's so much the biggest shock of all is obviously certainly for us is how on earth is he able to wrestle for New Japan?
Well, there's some contrasting, conflicting, I should say, reports going around over the last week. Some reports have said that he's actually not in a contract with WWE anymore.
So therefore, he has no reason to
exactly
object to anything
he signed short-term deals, and however the run is going at the time, he'll decide whether or not to continue it on after that. Other reports saying he is still contracted with WWE. Other reports are now saying that it's WWE trying to get a working relationship with New Japan. I don't believe that one.
Omega?
Yeah, I think he's Chris Jericho. He can do what he wants.
That's true, exactly. And when you consider the promo that Kenny Omega did at I think it was the press conference for Wrestle Kingdom 12, where he basically slated WWE, saying no one's on my level.
Yeah,
everyone's copying me.
Exactly.
So good luck, Jericho, if that's what you're brought in for.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, I believe that relations between WWE and Chris Jericho have been a little salty for a while. So solely because obviously we've been talking about he has his cruise coming in October of 2018.
Yes, and you're right. And he asked
he asked could he use some NXT stars for it.
That's true.
And he was told no.
Yeah.
So that's when he went to Ring of Honor, and now we've seen Marty Scurll, Cody, and Brandy Rhodes,
all confirmed,
and Young Bucks have all been announced so far.
Cool.
So
Bullet Cruise.
The Bullet Cruise. But so I can see why maybe he's gone. There's rumours that he wants to get a run going in New Japan. I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah. Sure.
Could this be the catalyst of WWE superstars jumping ship and moving to Japan?
Well, it's a huge one. We talked about this a few weeks ago when we talked about the Cody possibly encouraging other people to come to maybe defect, if you like, or certainly leave their contracts to go to New Japan. But
no disrespect to Cody, but Cody was not as highly regarded.
Yeah, as he is now.
As Chris Jericho. It takes that, and we've seen it now. It's obviously in a different context. It's not really comparable, but it's the best comparison I can come to at my mind at the moment. But the sexual harassment scandals going on in Hollywood at the moment.
Okay, yeah, all that
one
stuff for
high-profile person to get caught out.
Yeah.
For the floodgates to basically open. Chris Jericho, one high-profile guy to go from WWE to New Japan.
That's very true.
For the floodgates to open.
That's very true. You're right. In Cody, when he left, it was oh, it's a shame, but what can he do? It wasn't getting the booking, But at the same time, it was one of these things where oh, we'll see how he does in the Indies. And especially when he had that picture of the list. Here's Chris Jericho now. On the other hand, one of the biggest stars in the history of pro wrestling.
Yeah,
he's right in what he says. He is one of the best wrestlers of all time, certainly in my opinion. He's up there with Shawn Michaels in my book.
Oh yeah.
And here he is now. He's going to be wrestling his first match outside of WWE since
1999.
It'll be 19 years it'll be 19 or 18 and a half years by the time Wrestle Kingdom comes along. So it's huge, and there's no bigger match for him in New Japan. It's against a guy. The only other wrestler I know is from Winnipeg. In Kenny Omega, who's arguably the top wrestler in the world right now.
Exactly. You were saying to me as well off air that supposedly Jericho was talking about the match on his most recent podcast.
He did. He said, I think it was at the same interview or at the start of the interview before he got started talking to Austin Aries.
It wasn't. No, he has another one out that just came out today.
Well, mate.
It could be that one.
I don't think so, because I heard him say this maybe 3 days ago.
Was it? Okay.
So it wasn't that one. I'm not sure. Well, it was during the week. It was short. It was a couple of days after the announcement was made on Power Struggle, which we'll talk about a bit shortly. But he just said, that was the whole thing. We kept it all secrets. Here we go. And he talked about how he talked to Don Callis, who was a mutual friend of him and Omega, who's one of the English commentators. With Kevin Kelly for New Japan, and even when you hear the commentary about it, how shocked they were that's how big of a deal it is, because it's a match we thought would never happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of these dream matches. We talk all these wrestlers fantasize about, will this guy come here and wrestle this guy, and you think, due to politics, and especially with WWE's you could argue the way they do business, like it might be less possible. But now,
Yeah.
this comes out of nowhere, and we didn't know suspect a damn thing.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we know how good Omega is. We do know how good Jericho is, but let's be honest, time isn't on his side.
That's true.
Are we more thinking about the match that could have been rather than the match that will be?
The fact is,
in terms of like, we're taking Jericho when he was younger, what he was like.
Yeah.
And we're now we're not at fault for thinking like this because everybody would, but thinking that we're going to get that type of match, I don't see it. That type of match that everyone is expecting. I think it's going to be a little different.
For me, I just view it in the sense where it's an intriguing match, no matter what the case. Anyway, Jericho, I think, could still go in his age. Anyway, like I think he's one of these guys who is able to keep longevity very well. Like he's looked after his body. He's still able to maintain a good enough pace for to wrestle a really good match. It'd be interesting to see though how he would adapt to a New Japan style match now, as opposed to WWE, which he's been so used to now for 20 odd, almost 20 years now. So I'm not saying he can't do it. Like it makes the match more intriguing. But then again, you see guys who adapt very well in Japan with age. Minoru Suzuki, great example. He's almost in his 50s now, and he's probably he's actually having one of the best runs he's had in years. And so it goes to show you, like sometimes the older you get, the better run you have. Jericho, dare I say more about last year? It was one of the best years ever. So it makes them more intriguing, Yeah. So it's definitely one to watch, regardless. I know what you mean.
But I think a big reason as to why his run was so great last year, I think it was more down to his promo work and obviously the list and stuff.
Yeah.
I think his wrestling has obviously... Now, it's obviously natural that it's going to regress because of his age. He's 47. It's pretty obvious that it's going to. That's why I'm kind of concerned that... And especially with a New Japan style match, like you said.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that it is going to be a lot more fast paced.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more hard hitting.
Absolutely.
Than he's used to. Now, I'm not saying he's not used to, because obviously he was in Japan before. He
before.
knows exactly what he's getting into.
Yeah.
But
at least he should know anyway.
Exactly. I feel that the match is going to be a little different than we hope and expect. And also, one thing I was having a look at the New Japan website, looking at the match card for Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
And this match is actually for the US title.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I didn't know it was for the US.
Oh.
I thought it was just a one-on-one.
No, he did challenge him, so I imagine it was for the title anyway. So it makes it more intriguing, I suppose. We'll move on. Sticking with New Japan Pro Wrestling, a big announcement regarding their ventures in the US.
Yeah, New Japan also announced at Power Struggle at the weekend that it will be heading back to Long Beach, California on March 25th, 2018 for an event called Strong Style Evolved. It will take place at Walter Pyramid, which is a 5,000 seat venue which is located on the campus of Long Beach State University. Walter Pyramid is a bigger venue than the portion of the Long Beach Convention and Entertainment Center where New Japan's 2 G1 special events took place just this past summer. Tickets to those shows sold out shortly after being put on sale, with over 2,300 people in attendance each night. No ticket details for Strong Style Involved have been announced yet. March 25th falls on Sunday next year, meaning New Japan will be coming to Long Beach 2 weeks before WrestleMania takes place in New Orleans, Louisiana. There will be a New Japan representation at Ring of Honor's show over WrestleMania weekend, with Kenny Omega and Hiroshi Tanahashi already announced for it.
Class.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that they're trying to go for bigger venues, especially with the success of the G1 specials. It was massive.
Oh, they were fantastic.
The
2 nights were unbelievable. And I think they said they could have filled it twice over anyway.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. New Japan is such a fan base now in the United States. Because you see guys going into Ring of Honor, you have your Omegas, your Tanahashis, your Naitos, even Suzuki's lately. They're all wrestling and making the name, so they're world stars.
Yeah.
So
but it's not that. It's even just there's a lot of American and Canadian, especially over there. Like you said with Omega, then you have Michael Elgin, you have Cody,
Jay Lethal,
you have Jay Lethal, you have Juice Robinson as well.
Yeah.
There's so many over there, so it's not just obviously Japanese talent that is over there.
Yeah.
It's as well as US, American, and obviously we're getting Australian and New Zealand as well, and the UK especially too.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with recent results, especially with likes of Ospreay and Skrull as well. So yeah, it's definitely very exciting times ahead. Like, you know, it's interesting now that Omega is announced for Ring of Honor outside of that, and interesting enough, like, you know,
I think it's a lot more interesting what's coming up next weekend.
What's that?
Obviously War Games is in Houston next weekend. On the 8th, is Survivor Series on the 18th or is War Games?
18th, yeah. No, 17th is War Games.
The same night Ring of Honor is in San Antonio, Texas.
Is that right?
Yeah, doing a show.
Yeah, the boat are in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry,
No,
one boat
is in Houston. But did you see who was announced for the show? Obviously all the Bullet Club are there. Kenny Omega's announced as well, that they're doing a huge show. Stephen Amell was announced for it. The actor.
Okay.
Who most famous for
those who haven't heard of Stephen Amell, who is he?
He's an actor who was in he's in the TV show Arrow. He also fought Cody Rhodes at or Stardust I should say, at SummerSlam one year.
How ironic is that?
And he's going to be there with Cody again.
Nice.
At the Ring of Honor event.
There you go.
They're targeting WWE, which I kind of find interesting.
Yeah, I like it. So there you go. Because it was him who had the rivalry with him when he was in the Stardust days. So it goes to show you. More news with New Japan this week. They've announced that Sami Callihan, Chuck Taylor, and Jeff Cobb will debut for the promotion as part of the upcoming World Tag League tournaments, which is scheduled to take place on November 18th through December 11th. The block of the tournaments are as follows. So for Block A, you have the team of you have Balak Fale and Chase Owens of the Bullet Club, Sanada and Evil of LIJ, Hangman Page and Takahashi of Bullet Club, Goto and Yoshihashi of Chaos, Tanzan and Kojima, Sami Callihan teaming up with Juice Robinson, Nagata and Nagazushi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Minoru Suzuki and Naganishi, that's an interesting one. Naganishi, sorry, and Minoru Suzuki and Izuka. Have you seen Izuka? He's a nutcase lately. Like, he's been off his leash lately as well, so it's mad. And Block B, then you have Chuck Taylor and Beretta, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer of Killer Elite Squad, of course, Ken Amaru and David Finlay, War Machine, Tony Maccabee and Hinari, Michael Elgin and Jeff Cobb.
That's going to be a class tag team.
That's going to be a class tag team, yeah. The Guerrillas of Destiny, Tamatonga and Tangaroa, and Tomohiro Ishii and Toriano of Chaos. So a good mix of teams there, both of around factions or the regular teams that go after the titles. So
it should be good. There's some very interesting teams, like you said there. Obviously Guerrillas of Destiny, well known.
I'd be interested to see
Elgin and Cobb, like we just mentioned. Sami Callihan and Juice Robinson is a very interesting team.
I was going to mention that, like, because they go back to their NXT days, because that's when Sami Callihan was Solomon Cruz, I think his name was Solomon Cruz. If I'm pronouncing that right. Crows, sorry.
Yeah.
Solomon Crows, he was
Solomon Crow.
Solomon Crows, thank you. And Juice Robinson was CJ Parker, so they go back to the early NXT days, like when it was just starting to bloom off. So be interesting to see how that gets along there. Yeah, but as I said, Michael Elgin and Cobb. Of all those teams, which ones do you think would be the early favourites, or ones you think would stand out?
Obviously the three that stand out are all in the same block as well, because they've been going for the titles. That's Guerrillas of Destiny, you've got War Machine, and then you've got Davey Boy Smith and Lance Archer. Sorry,
Lance Archer.
In terms of Block A, like I said, Callihan and Juice Robinson could be a dark horse, but obviously Sonata and Evil.
Of course, I was just thinking that they're dark horses as well.
Sonata and Evil, I wouldn't say a dark horse. I'd say they're definitely front runners.
Especially considering the year that Evil has had. Like, he's had a fantastic year, especially in the back of the June Climax.
Badlock Fale and Chase Owens could be interesting.
I'm not sure about them. Like Badlock Fale, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Chase Owens.
I'm not saying he's bad, but like,
if you could have changed maybe Hangman Page and Chase Owens around, I think it's a better.
I fancy Page and Takahashi way more. Yeah, like, over those bunch. Even Tenzan and Kojima, let's not count them out. Like, they won the tag titles earlier on this year, so they wouldn't be.
It'll be interesting to see if Suzuki can keep. You said Izuka has been kind of off the rails recently. Yeah. So Suzuki won't sort of take that off the rails. You want him to keep.
Oh, he would. No, he's great. No, he'd be happy to have him go crazy.
Really?
Suzuki is a man of chaos. He encourages it.
Yeah, but his chaos.
What?
His chaos, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see. Like, I can't imagine him being too fussy about it anyway. We'll move on. Some interesting comments made by Finn Balor this week.
Yeah, in an interview with Sky Sports to promote this week's WWE Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, tapings in Manchester, England, that just happened this past week. Raw superstar Finn Balor discussed why he believes the United Kingdom fans deserve a major WWE pay-per-view. He says, I love the idea of doing international pay-per-views and I don't see why we should be anchored, so to speak, to the United States. The fans here deserve a pay-per-view in the United Kingdom. We haven't had one since 1992, and that one went down as one of the greatest pay-per-views in WWE history. Why hasn't it been done since then is beyond me. People above me will make excuses about how it's not financially beneficial to the company, but I think there are more important things beyond the bottom line, and that's giving the fans what they want at any cost. Finn Balor can say that all he likes, but he works for a business, not a promotion.
That's true.
So it is all about the bottom line, Finn.
Yeah,
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, no, like, but he makes a very good point though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
there was a fake Twitter profile, not a fake tweet going around that they were at it was the Glasgow WWE live show. That supposedly that they announced the pay-per-view that went mental for about 2 hours. People were saying the UK is getting a pay-per-view until it was eventually debunked. And it, like, okay, he makes sense. Like, obviously his last one was 92 SummerSlam, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was British Bulldog and Bret Hart.
Yeah, at Wembley Stadium.
Yep.
I don't see why.
Of course, like
I don't see why they
it's
can't.
a perfect venue for WrestleMania is Wembley Stadium. Any stadium.
It would never happen in WrestleMania.
Never for WrestleMania.
Never would happen in WrestleMania solely because of the time difference.
Yeah, but they have the same problem for any pay-per-view then. If that's
I know,
the case.
but see, that's why you could do other pay-per-views instead. But you could never do WrestleMania. Never. You couldn't do any of the big four because they're so big. They have to start at 1 a.m. airtime, whatever, 5 p.m. Eastern,
well, that's
8 p.m. Pacific, or 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m.
I'm not sure that's
Pacific.
I'm not sure that's a bad thing though, because if they that's what they did for SummerSlam back then. They had like very early in the day an event, and it was the only time it was dark was for the 3 last matches.
But see, it's different. That was then. I'm talking about now.
Yeah,
and they couldn't like. There's two options that they could do with it.
Right.
Okay. One I think could work very well. The other one, now they could go with the way that they do with SmackDown and Raw, and they could tape it beforehand. But then they risk the results coming out and stuff like that,
no,
which I don't think they would never do.
No, they'd be mad to do that.
The alternative is they could do what the UFC do when they come over to England. And this last couple of times they come over to England when they've done it, they actually start the event at the time they would start it in America. So
well, a lot of promotions do that.
It would be the event would actually start 1 a.m. in I think it was the MEN Arena in Manchester. That's where they did it, and then it would go on from there. You could do that.
Well, the thing is, though, were they allowed to do that in the Wembley Stadium?
The only difference in that is obviously the UFC is catered to a more mature audience. If it was a WWE event, they'd want people to bring their families, and I don't think families want to stay up till 1 a.m. to go to an event.
It's like, yes,
you know, because no family on a Sunday night, no one's going to bring their kid at 1 a.m. on a Sunday night, Monday morning.
Yeah, a lot of sleepyheads, certainly.
To a pay-per-view.
You're right. Well, no, that's the only way realistically it probably could work, and it's probably they didn't do that when they had SummerSlam. They had it
unless
they had it in the afternoon, and it was an earlier time. Like in America, it was in the morning over there, I think. So.
Yeah, it all depends as well. With I can't remember how did the viewings do for the UK tournament.
I don't know if they did incredibly well, but well,
because I'm guessing that could be a stick to measure it with in terms of they did it at the UK time. How did the Americans fans perceive it? But like, if you could bring a middle of the road pay-per-view, you know, you could bring a Backlash, you could bring a No Mercy to London or Manchester, and you could do it there as a trial run. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, like I even have like a regular, like not like their huge pay-per-views, but even like a smaller one, like or one of their Raw and SmackDown ones.
Or something
yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Like, you know, even a special.
Yeah.
Like well, maybe not a special. Like they only did specials for. Actually, last time they did a special was in Japan. Yeah. For the East and the East thing when Balor won the NXT title.
Yeah, and they did that at how can I say? They did that like say 7 o'clock in the morning here.
Oh yeah.
That's when they did it live. So they did it at the times where it would be acceptable in Japan.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So
early evening in Japan.
Yeah, because if it was realistically for a wrestling match, for audience reasons as well, they're better off going with the time they would have it if they're doing it normally, like, you know. So it remains to be seen, but there's a lot of ways.
It's all about that bottom line, though. It's all about that bottom line.
Yeah.
WWE only care about the bottom line.
I thought you were going to say because WWE say so, but there you go. We'll move on. Interesting developments about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn this week. Oh, is that my story? Sorry. What was you? Anyway, in an update, WWE Smackdown Live superstars Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been sent home by the company from the current tour in Europe. The reports from PWIinsider.com note that the duo were sent home not for one reason but for several reasons that came up over the tour for the news. The report noted that it was an issue on the SmackDown Live broadcasts where the duo allegedly did what they wanted during the close of the segment with the New Day as opposed to being physically run off by the team, and that there was a situation where Kevin Owens was allegedly complaining loudly on a tour bus after the taping, which to some was decreed as the last straw following a few long days of touring, while others felt that it was Owens just venting and that it's not a major issue. But the situation at television may be exuberated, may have overdone the situation and forced WWE's hand. So it's interesting. Like, first of all, my bad. Second of all, what's going on? You have a suspicion over this of why, like, if there's anything going on with Owens and Zayn, or there's any tension, you might have an idea?
There was some reports that I read. Also, it was on PW Insider, I think, as well. Or was it the Wrestling Sheet? I think it was the Wrestling Sheet. Yeah. Ryan, whichever one Ryan Satin works for, I think it's Wrestling Sheet.
Yes, Wrestling Sheet, yeah.
He reported that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been very unhappy in the company the last little while, solely because two of their close friends, being Neville and Jimmy Jacobs, have recently left the company.
Okay.
Through, well, not the most, how can I say? But they left badly. Yeah, they left badly.
Well, Jacobs
one was fired and the other one was just walked out.
Yeah, both were badly, fair enough. Yeah. So.
And we still haven't heard anything from Neville. Even he hasn't even been released yet. We still don't know. No, because he wasn't even released yet. We still don't know what's going on. He's still technically a WWE employee at the moment.
Okay.
As we're recording here on Friday. But so supposedly that has led to them being very unhappy and not really taking into account what's going on. So I don't know. It's weird. I would hate if those two left.
No, it'd
be detrimental to WWE.
Yeah, certainly to the SmackDown roster, where like they're two of the big. You could argue two of the biggest sales there. Yeah. Like so, since
Kevin Owens moved to SmackDown, he has been the face of the show.
And as we talked about with Jericho being, you think possibly be the catalyst of so many other people leaving. Can you imagine what the likes of Owens and Zayn, especially Owens, who would easily go back to Kevin Steen if he was in the Indies. Like, I don't know about Sami Zayn if he really went back as going back from Sami Zayn to El Generico.
Kevin Owens, because you know how he's such good friends with the Young Bucks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would he be a member of the Bullet Club?
Wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't see why not.
Wouldn't surprise me. Why not? Like, so
he could be the one to take over after Kenny Omega leaves.
Yeah, but I'd be more inclined to see him come back to Ring of Honor because that's where he dominated for years.
Well, he can do both Ring of Honor and
but I imagine Ring of Honor would be his priority.
Would be his. Yes, it would.
Well, let's not think like that. Let's hope it's just a little pickle here, like, because I don't want him to leave WWE because they're too good there. Yeah. Especially Owens, like, you know, he's their man over there, like, for SmackDown. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of distant employees, or should you introduce this news bit this time?
Yeah, it's my turn now.
Yeah,
Dave, sorry. Moving from current employees to ex-employees, Austin Aries appeared on this week's edition of Talk Is Jericho, where the pair covered a range of topics, including why the Cruiserweight left WWE. Despite plenty, I should say, of speculation around his reasoning, Austin Aries did confirm that he did not ask for his release and squashed a few rumours about his departure. On some of the rumours he talked about, there was a tweet I put out that governed some headlines telling everyone that WrestleMania 33 DVD was available in Canada on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, one of the matches of the night was left off the DVD, and so people took that and made it into one of the reasons why Austin Aries left, because he was mad that he wasn't on the DVD, which he squashed and said that wasn't the case. On the reason why he left WWE, He says, long story short, and I can't speak to stuff that I've read or people I've heard of because those things weren't brought to me personally, and I don't like to deal with speculation. So just plain and simple, I was told they had nothing for me creatively.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
They let someone like Austin Aries go due to lack of creative.
Yeah. And I listened to the podcast actually during the week.
Okay.
Very interesting podcast. Austin Aries comes across as a really likeable guy and stuff like that. Even though he's vegan, he's not one of those vegan. You know, the pushy vegans.
No, seriously.
He's not one of them.
He doesn't encourage us to the world. He just does it.
He does a bit of a light encouragement.
Yeah,
like he obviously has a book out and stuff like that.
But he wouldn't force it down your throat.
Oh no, not at all. But he talked about how he was a face against Neville, and he says that as a face, you have to be working towards something. So working towards a title or working towards getting righting some wrongs or something like that. And he says the natural progression for me next was to be a heel, because he had gone 4 matches against Neville and he'd failed.
Yeah.
Realistically, in the eyes of fans, he could not be a babyface anymore because he had failed, which you understand.
Makes sense.
Makes total sense. And he says that the next thing for him was to turn.
Okay.
Was to turn heel, either as a singles competitor, or he wouldn't have minded saying being a mouthpiece for someone.
Yeah. Even going back to commentary as a heel commentator, like,
could have been
so good at as well.
Could have gone so well if he did, but yeah, he just came across so well. Like, he's really insightful about the business as well. And he's actually said
very wise. He's in his 40s now, so
he's exactly. He says now that he's very thankful for his time in WWE.
Yeah.
And he says that anybody will tell you, once you are an ex-WWE fan, or a man, I should say, your quote for indie shows goes up. You can add another 0.
So that's probably where he got the idea of how much money he's making now, because his quote has gone, his rate, we'll say, like, has gone up significantly ever since. So
exactly. Ex-WWE man on the indie show.
Yeah, that's the thing though. If he comes to Dublin, for example, like I'm not saying there's any disrespect to OTT, but like, would he be affordable?
Cody is.
Yes.
Books are.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. It would be one of those
especially
shows.
Especially Cody being an ex-WWE man as well, I suppose. Yeah.
If it was he was to come to Dublin, it would be one of the big shows. Like, it would be a National Stadium show.
I bet
it wouldn't be a Tivoli appearance.
Well, I bet in, when is it now? It's in 3 weeks time, I think now, or 4 weeks time.
The Tivoli or the National Stadium
I think
show?
so, yeah.
It's about a month away.
Yeah, about a month away. If they announce their next big event and he's on that, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh,
we know nothing. We know nothing.
The place would explode.
Literally. It had a huge reaction. Like, it's probably the biggest reaction I've ever heard in OTT shows, Kenny Omega. Cody Rhodes is a close second, by the way. But Austin Aries, especially how respected he is in the wrestling business, there's the dream right there.
There will be some sort of announcement, I'm sure.
We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Have to wait and see. Now let's continue on our show now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God! OTT! 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 OTT!
Of all weeks to be sick, man. All weeks.
Stop. I know.
You missed a hell of a show, man. Like, OTT Vendetta, which took place at Tivoli Theatre last Saturday. Again, it's always delivered, but like, it's particularly interesting, this show, because there's a lot of leeway gone to being the elite. So at least, there's a lot announced. So like, the big show is obviously being the elite, but still, the anticipation of it you enjoy as well. And it's like,
you know what? I'm just gonna like turn my ears off for this next part, so I don't have to.
No, to be honest with you, I owe you one, because you were nice enough to give me your ticket.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so I owe you big time for that. I'm serious.
Yeah, I had a ticket anyway.
I know, but you gave us a ringside ticket. Yeah, I was originally was going to get GA because I couldn't afford it, or didn't get the ringside in time. Yeah, so I owe you big time for that. So.
Yeah.
But we'll move on. We'll get into it anyway. So the first match was originally supposed to be the Fabulous Nikki against El Ligero, But LJ Cleary, who you might have heard of from the OTT Contenders, came out on making his Tivoli debut with chants to "He's Keno Carroll's father," which was very funny because Keane was right in front of me, and as soon as I went, he's your dad, and naturally LJ took it very badly. Before suggesting that it's about time that he's at the Tivoli, and he wants to prove that he's not just a contender, and he challenged Nikki and Ligero, making the match a three-way dance, which is a triple threat elimination match, so I can beat them both quickly. What happened? Double super kick, gone. Cleary's gone, eliminated by a double super kick. So, leaving just a match as originally scheduled between Nikki and El Ligero. Very good opening match. It was Nikki who beat El Ligero by hitting a super kick on a springboard. He went for a springboard attack, I think it was. He springs the rope, and then when he turned around, super kick over. And naturally, Nikki, it's not a Nikki match unless he shares a kiss with his opponents. Foxy wasn't so much involved in this match, believe it or not. Like a lot of you expect sometimes.
Yeah, but he got involved later on, so I think kind of made up for it.
That's true. The very next match, in fact, between the session Matt Martina against Manchester's Lana Austin for the OTT Women's Title, and he got very involved in the match after reluctantly searching both ladies for foreign objects, if you like, to chance of "Do your job, Foxy," which was very funny. And you're right, because I remember Butch was telling me when we previewed the show of how both ladies like to manipulate with the referee, and just the match started, let's search each other, and here's Martina flashing away like that, and here's okay, check me leg, yeah. So, and then Foxy got involved in the wrestling as well. There was with Martina, and I think he got he did international with Martina while Lana was referee or something like that. So it was very funny, very good match. A lot of funny moments with Martina cracking Lana and Foxy's fingers using her woman's area. The whole Marty Skrull impersonation. But it was very sharp wrestling as well. It was actually a very class match. In my opinion, it's actually Martina's best match as champion in her 2 reigns. In my opinion,
did she take a lot of bumps?
A fair amount, not too many. Okay. It was more rolls than bumps.
No, because I saw she put a tweet on the day of it.
Okay.
And she was saying that she thinks she was carrying a small injury in with her to the show.
I was talking to her after the show. She didn't mention it like that, so I didn't bring it up to her, to be fair, But no, Mr. Jericho made a return as well, when Martina retained the title by hitting her Sesh Breaker, which is her version of the Code Breaker, before submitting Lana with a Mr. Jericho insisted crossface. So she had it in her hand. I think she put another one on and put the crossface on her face, and it naturally taps out immediately. Straight after the match then, William J. Humperdinck came out saying that he's sick of having Martina as OTT champion, and announced that Martina will defend her OTT women's title at Being the Elite against Kaylee Ray. That's going to be a class match.
It's going to be a great match.
Yeah. So she said, "Oh well, me and Kay are mates, but she'll fight and still be champion." So and it was very interesting because it was a good few appearances that William J. made. He made one after this next match between Bobby George Jr. and Adam Maxted. Tony Idol is probably could be the most over man in OTT in general, because his intros are a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
The detail he went into this one. I think I think how did he weigh in this time? I think this time he weighs in 90 kilos, 3 pints, and half of his cousin's Halloween chocolate. Just stuff like that is just so funny, But it was a very good, but surprising agility. We look at so much of the gimmick of Bobby George Jr. He's showed a few moves. We're thinking, wow, we didn't know he could do that. He did one of those spinning hurricanranas on Maximum. Jeez, where'd that come from? But it was a good match. In the end, it was Max Ted who beats George following a springboard sling blade. Actually, that was very impressive. So it was a good win for Max Ted. After the match, William J. once again came out announcing that due to George Jr.'s recent losing streak, saying that even though he doesn't like him, he's slightly good for business, if you like. Saying that he must win at Being the Elites to stay in OTT, and he announced that his opponents will be the returning Paul Tracy, which is a very interesting match. So
yeah.
There's a match having a chance. There's a bit of the crowd that follow the Social Elites. So I'm like, oh. Yeah. And Tracy came out to.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Who is in the Social Elite now? Because obviously Devlin was. That seems to have gone off the boil.
It seems to be just Tracy, because
it was Charlie Sterling as well for a while too.
It was Charlie Sterling, Paul Tracy, and Jordan Devlin.
Yeah.
But now here's Jordan Devlin making a run for the title.
Yeah.
Here's Charlie Sterling, who's teaming up with Zach Gibson.
Yeah.
It's basically on his own at the moment.
And anytime Shaq Samuels is here as well, he teams up with Shaq Samuels too.
Yeah, so it really isn't a socially.
No,
it's just Tracy.
I think it's just Tracy, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
The social Tracy, that's all it
The
is.
social Tracy, pretty much, yeah. Or the Tracy Elite, or whatever you want to call it. But Tracy came out, he low-blowed George Jr. and then idle after he insulted Tracy, calling him the Lord of the Spanner instead. So, and George Jr. then carried Idol out of the ring. It was actually very sweet. There were a few people sang Titanic in the crowds while he was walking away. So, now, probably the most mental match, like there's always a mental match that happens in OT, and this is one of them. Like the Angel Cruisers, like Angel Cruiser and Be Cool, and Joey Janela taking on all 3 members of Kings of the North, Bonesaw, Damien Corvin and Duncan Disorderly in a hardcore 6-man tag for the tag titles. Crazy match from start to finish. Like they were all over the place. Like, you know, they dived they dived very close to where me and Cormac were sitting. Like, it was mad. Spots included Bonesaw superplexing Be Cool on top of everyone from the outside. Kings of the North attacking team P. Rick. The broken broomsticks, I think one hit broke, it was like a kendo stick, but it broke against Bonesaw, I think, and then there was one that Joey Janela tried to use, and as much as he tried, it just bent. So here's Angel Cruz, who broke it straight away. Joey Janela's was like this afterwards. It was like it was like the St. Louis Hoop or something like that. Like, so what else happened? The Angel Cruisers waxing Disorderly and Bonesaw. They got one of those wax strips, and I think both Bonesaw and Disorderly have like hairy chests. It was like got the hairs off, so it was kind of nasty. Janela giving the Death Valley driver to Corbin on a guitar. Like, what he was trying to do it on the turnbuckle, but it didn't break. And he did it on the ring canvas, and it just about broke. And at the start, I'm like, did it break? What happened there? Janela then sentoning on a chair that actually stuck a hole through the ring, actually. Like, because the chair actually was in such an angle that I put a hole through the ring, like so. And I remember seeing I remember seeing Corbin's face after, thinking, is he breaking character? Slightly concerned about the canvas. What else happened? Angel Cruz. He tried to do here was Joey Janela, right? Who got a baseball bat. And I don't know, there's just apparently he claims that he's doing eeny meeny miny mo with a baseball bat. Now, is that reference to a TV show? Because he said afterwards, I'd never seen the show, so I wasn't sure if it was something to do with TV.
It doesn't ring a bell straight away.
He wore a bandana across his neck,
yeah,
and said eeny meeny miny mo with a baseball. Does that mean something?
Oh, that's The Walking Dead.
That's Walking Dead.
That's The Walking Dead. That's it's like I haven't watched The Walking Dead or read the comics and so on.
When neither is Joey Janela, apparently. He said, "I'm sorry, I know what this means, but I haven't watched the show."
Oh, it's a character called Negan.
Oh, okay.
He had he has a baseball bat and he just basically kills who he wants.
But
and there was a famous scene in one of the started in one of the seasons.
Well, that was the scene, yeah.
Then he goes eeny meeny miny mo and he kills one of the main characters off. You don't know which one it was going to be.
I see.
It was a cliffhanger from the end of one season to the start of another.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Cruz baseball. Well, whilst he did that, Angel Cruz tried to do one better and light a baseball bat, but it actually it couldn't light. Like, he tried to match it like 5 times, so they eventually gave up and Disorderly threw it into like one of those ice containers that would be in the bar. And despite many attempts, then Bonesaw, he tried to superplex, I think it was Janela, on a bunch of thumbtacks, and he ended up falling on the thumbtacks from the top rope. It was a nasty bump as well. No, yeah, it was. His back afterwards was in shreds. Bonesaw powerbombing Be Cool. Sorry, it was Corvin who actually went through the thumbtacks. Excuse me. It was Bonesaw who powerbombed Be Cool through a wooden board. It looked like a table. But the worst one was when Janela landed barefoot on the thumbtacks. He took off his shoes. And he thumbtacked barefoot, and the reaction from the crowds.
Why?
I think what he was trying to do is he was trying to be Daredevil with the whole thing, and by taking off his shoes, and then what happened? He was trying to double stomp on. I think it was Corvin. He missed, and oh my god, it was horrible. Like, it's one thing when it's on the back, but it's on the feet.
Why?
Why? That shows how crazy he was. Disorderly then frog splash Cruz on the table, which didn't break from the top to the outside, and I think it really hurt Disorderly because he went. It was like a foam noise that went like that, and you can hear the crowd going, oh, like, you know, they can tell that wasn't supposed to happen, you know, that sort of way.
Yeah.
And that was it. Then Cruz was dragged into the ring to get pinned by Corvin. That was the match. It was the Kings of the North who actually showed respect to Janela, Cruz, and Cool after the match. So, because quite frankly, the punishment that was taken from all 6 men, rightly so, I suppose. So now, Zach Gibson and Charlie Sterling took on Curtis Murray and Nathan Martin. Pre-match, Gibson, as you'd imagine, goes off, slating the crowd. And even the previous match with Sterling dressed up as a British Bulldog, he was wearing like the Union Jack.
I saw the red pants.
Yeah. He was slated by the crowd a bit for that. So he was sweeping the canvas with the broom, like almost like look. Here's Gibson complaining how the canvas was ruined from the past match because of a few splatters of blood and the hole that was from the chair. Very good match anyway. It was Martin and Murray who gave Sterling and Gibson an awesome showing. Excellent high flying from both. I think there was one scene where I think Murray, he jumped up for a corkscrew, walked into the rope, and then somersaulted over, like, so stuff like that. But even Martin doing like he did like a high fly spot, like, you know, the type of crossbody that Hiroshi Tanahashi does. Very similar style where he crouches and ups like that, and did it all the way down there. So it's fearless the way he does that. Like, so Murray almost beat Sterling as well, following a Belfast Destroyer, the version of the Canadian, his version of the Canadian Destroyer. Both Sterling and Gibson though pinned Martin and Murray at the same time after hitting the Doomsday Device on Murray and a Spike Pile Driver on Martin for the win. After the match, here's where it gets interesting. Gibson and Sterling gloated by saying that there's no more Irish competition. Out comes the Kings of the North to a huge pop. Huge pop.
So they're baby faces now?
I'll say their face.
Are they baby effing faces?
They're effing faces rather than baby effing faces, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
To confront Gibson and Sterling, and OTT said that OTT is their house and it challenged them to a title match for being the elite. Now they mentioned their friends, so I imagine Samuels will be involved as well. It was mentioned in commentary by Don. It looks like it'll be 3-on-3 for the tag titles, so that's a good match as well.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion about that match, because let's bear in mind Kings of the North have been tag teams for over a year. It'll be a year by December comes.
Yeah.
I fear the worst.
No, I wouldn't think
We'll see. Scotty Davis took on the mystery opponent of Ryan Smile in his first OTT appearance since losing the title at Wrestlemania. Excellent showing from Davis, like giving Ryan more than he can handle. And again, we say this all the time when we see Scotty Davis. He shows such great variety of skills. He's not just a very good high flyer, but his striking and his ground and submission base is excellent at the moment. So that's why, that's why he has these matches with Ryan Smile. And it was a quality match, very crisp. Almost made Smile submit to a Goma Plata before Smile raked Scotty's eyes, hit a brainbuster, and hit his Smile high, but Scotty kicked out. So thinking, oh my god, he could win this match. And then Scotty hit like a version of the Crossroads on Smile, but then Smile's foot was on the rope. Then Smile hit a low blow on Scotty, but we're behind Scotty's back before beating him with a curve stomp for the match. And it was an excellent match, as I said. After the match then, Mark Haskins, who was originally supposed to take on Travis Banks tonight, but he couldn't appear due to travel issues, challenged Smile to an impromptu title match. Scotty distracted Smile, which Haskins took advantage of to quickly beat him with a Death Valley Driver. Like a 2-minute match. So I have a feeling that could lead to a rivalry between Rod Smile and Scotty Davis. I'd like to see that again, because it was a class match. So, or even the chance where Scotty Davis could be the next guy, like the Irish guy, like, you know, so because he's getting a good few significant matches now. He wrestled 7 in the Gara last month.
I think, to be the next Irish guy. I think probably Smile and Scotty Davis maybe to have a bit of a rivalry would work well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's that progression, like for Scotty Davis as well. And of course, the main events: Jordan Devlin versus Matt Riddle. The winner gets a title. They will get the opportunity to face Mark Haskins for the NLW title at Being the Elite. Terrific match. Plenty of suplexes, chop-offs, striking. The strength of Riddle in particular. Like, he had this move where he went from a gut-wrench suplex 3 times and eventually hit with a powerbomb. It's effortless as well, like the way he did that. In the end, it was Devlin who hit a Super Destroyer on Riddle, but Riddle kicked out of 1, and then Devlin picked him up to hit him in the head and then finished him off with the package pile driver to a huge cheer, as you'd imagine, thinking, yes, he's finally got us. Mark Haskins then confronted Devlin after the match. To chance of next world champ, Haskins and Devlin had a very intense handshake / stare down for their title match and Being the Elite. So it sets the scene now. So what match that's going to be, like, that was released later on as to be the main event now for Being the Elite. Like, so there's a lot of class matches now to look forward to going into it. Like it seems like the final seeds, maybe not the final seeds, but certainly the majority of them are set down for Being the Elite. So
yeah, it looks like it's going to be a a class match between Haskins and Devlin.
A lot of great matches to look forward to, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. We were just mentioning there off air some of the matches that were announced a while ago that we actually had forgotten about as well. And yeah, it's going to be a fantastic show. A great early Christmas present for all of us.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I think matches that we haven't mentioned yet. Obviously, like the Young Bucks coming in.
The Young Bucks and Marty Scurll against Dalton Castle
and the boys. Well, I cannot wait for that match. I've been dying to see Dalton Castle since I first discovered him. Like, of all people from the Indies, bring him in.
A triple threat match as well with Cody, Ray Phoenix, and
Flip Gordon.
Yeah. Flip Gordon coming back to Ireland, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, you're a huge fan of that Flip Gordon. So
he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Flip is fantastic. Also, really nice guy as well, because I got the chance to talk to him afterwards. And he's just like, I've seen some of the matches that he's been in. He's gone while he was over in Mexico, and he's so good. And the thing is, he wrestles at the weekend, and he's in the army during the week.
I know you're saying. At one stage, though, because Flip Gordon is gone, because the Young Bucks are going to be there at one stage.
Oh, there's going to be a harmless rib. There's definitely going to be a harmless rib.
Has to be. Oh, there has to be. I can't wait. Anyway, let's move on now to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling and Power Struggle. So, New Japan Pro Wrestling's Power Struggle, which took place in Osaka, Japan last Sunday. It's our final big show now going into Wrestle Kingdom in January. Like, so, and again, like OTT, like, it has its planting its seats now for the big event itself. Like, so and some really good matches. Looking forward to at the end of it as well, and a lot of interesting twists as well, as we talked about in the news as well. So first match was David Finlay took on Katsuya Kanamura. It was Finlay who won the match by pinfall with a stunner on the pre-show. The team of Kireya Kawato, Juice Robinson, Jushin Liger, Kushida, and Tiger Mask 4 took on Suzuki Gun of El Desperado, Taichi, Takumi Shinoku, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Zack Sabre Jr. It was Kushida who submitted Michinoku by submission thanks to a hoverboard lock. The team of Tenkozi of Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Tososhi Kojima, God, they're nameful sometimes, and Koji Makabe took on the team of Chase Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Yujiro Takahashi of the Bullet Club. It was Kojima who pinned Owens by pinfall following a lariat. And here's where it gets interesting now. Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo, they call themselves, took on ACH and Ryosaki Taguchi for the in the finals of the Super Junior Tag Team Tournament that took place this year. We didn't cover too much because it was only like how many teams? 8 teams that were involved in them and all that. I think the Young Bucks weren't one of them. Do you know that? Young Bucks weren't one of the teams that were involved in it, I think so. But we know that now at the end of this match. It was they won by pinfall in the end with the team called the 3K. Like, I think it was something like I actually forget for the life of me what the actual move was because it was last week. But it's
fine.
It was a very good match. Like Roppongi 3K. Have you had a chance to check them out? Yeah,
I haven't actually.
They're actually a class team.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they looked after him very well. Like they had some of their matches in. They did like their excursions in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So that's where they got it. That's where they found their personality. That's how Rocky Romero found them. It actually makes sense when you think about it. Like, so. After the match, though, it was Young Bucks who came down to challenge Roppongi 3K to a title match, and Rocky Romero straight away accepted. So that's a great match. Like Roppongi 3K and Young Bucks for the junior heavyweight tag team titles. Young Bucks come for their 7th. Junior heavyweight tag titles in New Japan. Now, the Chaos team of Gedo, Hiroshi Goto, Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi took on all 5 members of Nagasawa Day Japan: Bushi Evil, Takahashi Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito. It was Okada who beat Bushi by pinfall after a Rainmaker. So that leaves like that's like probably one of the last matches, or certainly before the run up to the Wrestle Kingdom. It's like it's a significant match, like between LIJ and Chaos before the big match for the world title at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Now, as we head into intermission, they made their announcement of the United States returning to their return to Long Beach, for Strong Style Evolved, as mentioned on the news. Now, Minoru Suzuki took on Toru Yano in a bull rope death match for the Never Openweight Championship. This is like, now, can you imagine? One thing I have to mention, Toru Yano, like, apparently had this old gimmick before where he actually looked like Ronald McDonald with his haircut. He dyed his hair like ginger and had like blonde eyebrows. He returns to that in this. You wouldn't recognize him. You wouldn't recognize him. It's crazy. I think he shaved off his goatee as well.
Really?
You have to see him. You wouldn't think it's the same person. And like, you know, like, because here's Suzuki, who, believe it or not, actually never held a victory against Yano for, I think, 3 matches in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were saying before this match that it seems like a bit of a duck that Suzuki is suffering with Yano, but by God, he made him pay. With the bull rope wrapped around his throat, with the Gotch pile driver, like, he won the match in the end. The match, Yano almost won the match, but the interference of Taichi and Iizuka stopped Yano from getting through. So he looked like he was going to win, but then the interference, and then obviously Suzuki being Suzuki. Like, then attacking God knows how many young boys after, you know, yourself. That's the thing, and that's one of the things I like about him. Like, have you seen his crazy moments yet?
No.
It's actually very funny. It's mostly all attacking young boys, although if it could be very uncomfortable, like, because she had a match with Asuka when she was still in Japan.
Yeah.
Watch it with caution. I'll say no more.
I've seen it.
Oh, have you?
I've seen it. Yeah,
it can get uncomfortable.
Yeah, they say nobody's ready for Asuka. Suzuki was. Suzuki was definitely ready for Asuka.
Oh, yeah, she was. Now, Marty Scurll took on Will Ospreay for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. He won by pinfall after reversing a reversal to a counter from the Oz Cutter to the Chickenman Crossface to a pinfall. If that makes sense. For a victory roll up to win the championship. So yeah, there you go. The second British Junior Heavyweight Champion in like a month.
I know, crazy.
And Marty Scurll.
It's similar to what happened at Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Ospreay became TV champion, and soon after becoming TV champion, he lost to Marty Scurll.
This is the 3rd time now in Marty Scurll's career where he has won a championship from Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Like, he won the Progress Championship from Will Ospreay. He won the, as you mentioned, the Ring of Honor TV title, and now the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Poor Ospreay, just can't avoid him, can he? It's like imagine one day he goes to WWE, he becomes world champion. Next night on Raw, Scurll takes it from him.
On the plus side, though, it has led to the first ever multi-man Junior Heavyweight Championship match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Absolutely, it's a huge
between Ospreay, Scurll, Takahashi and Kushida.
It's a huge, Kushida, Ospreay and Tanahashi. And here's Tanahashi wearing a helmet, a codpiece and boxing gloves. Yeah. Which is very funny, by the way, because the last few times he tried to transfer the title, he got knocked out or attacked. They got in the ring and all states their claim to transfer the title, and Ospreay offered to face all 3 of them at the same time. Yeah. So that's awesome. That's going to be a hell of a match, because those 4 are probably the best 4 junior heavyweights. Bar Neville, the best, in my opinion, the best 4 junior heavyweights. Yeah. Certainly, like, you can't get 4 better than those 4 at the moment. Yeah. Now, Kenny Omega took on Beretta. He beat him by pinfall. Very good match, actually. Beretta is very capable as a singles competitor. He really is, and you know how much he weighs now.
This is the reason he wanted to. He broke up the tag team with Rocky Romero, because he wanted to go for the heavyweights. And
he's up to like almost 230 now.
Yeah,
he had to cut weights to go down there. So goes to show you. Great effort, but in the end, Omega won by pinfall with his 1-win Angel to retain the United States Championship. As we talked about in the news, Kenny got to the mic and congratulated Beretta for his effort and said this is the part of the show where his next challenger comes to the ring. Nobody comes out, and he shifts to Japanese, figuring maybe whoever it is didn't understand English. Still nobody, and he goes on to bid goodbye before a video played of Chris Jericho, saying Kenny isn't the best in the world, he is. All the other men who have laid claim to that title are gone, and now he's the greatest of all time, the alpha of pro wrestling, and he's going to prove it by challenging Omega to see who really the best is at Wrestle Kingdom, which Kenny accepted. Again, massive announcements, as we said, it's huge. The main events then, it was Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Kota Ibushi for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Brilliant match, as always, from these two. In the end, it was Tanahashi who won by a pinfall following the high fly flow, he calls it, his frog splash. Now, did you see the ending of this match? What happened afterwards?
No.
Because it went on so long, you had the feeling something was going on.
Yeah.
Tanahashi.
Oh, the ending of it. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Tanahashi cut his usual show-ending promo and enjoyed his air guitar bit. And he went on, and you just noticed he did it for like 3 times and thinking something's up, something's going to happen. The streamers went down, the show's over. Switchblades was on the screen. Now that guy we talked about with the blades, we discovered later on his name was Switchblade. We didn't. I think they were doing that during the road up to it. We didn't know for sure what the story was. In his creepy little room, and we finally got a clear view of his face. It was Jay White. And then he's in the arena. He gets in Tanahashi's face and said he's taking all of his kingdom away from him, including the Intercontinental title. They trade 4 rounds as the timekeeper desperately rings the bell to try and restore order to no avail.
I do love that where they keep trying to ring the bell as if it's going to work.
It's never going to work. I see what they're trying to do, but it doesn't work. White lays him out by a swinging reverse STO, which I think what's that move? It's like the Sister Abigail. That's it's pretty much the same move as that.
Switchblade.
Yeah. He then takes his switchblade pen off and lays it on the ace's chest before taking his leave. It's interesting, isn't it? Like we speculated that it would have been Jay White. Like, you know, the thing is though about Jay White.
thought Jay White or Sami Callihan, then Sami Callihan ends up at TNA instead.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's there. He's after debuting for them. He debuted at Bound for Glory.
Oh really?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
I didn't know that. No, I heard. No, I wasn't sure if I heard if he was in Ring of Honor or not, or not Ring of Honor. Impact is called now. Back again now. Yeah. So. Yeah,
he debuted for the, I think it's like Eve. I think tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of them now.
Yeah, it was interesting about though. Just Jay White. It's a great character for him. The thing is about it though, and this is probably just me being picky, is like. Here's Jay White who has such a baby face. I don't mean like in terms of wrestling. I mean the way he's very cute.
Yeah.
Someone that cute, like you'd be such a bad guy.
I know, but
you know what I mean?
He's gone like
his haircut,
and everything now.
Suggests otherwise.
And attire, he's gone full black clothes, black hair, everything.
Yeah.
He's trying to look as evil as possible.
But he still has those baby blue eyes. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know. I don't know. Maybe if he puts some contacts in, some different colour contacts.
No, what he needs. No, it's like the Neville thing. It's like the Neville.
He needs a beard.
Needs
a beard.
That's another thing. But he also needs lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep, yeah.
Because remember what happens after every time Neville lost the Cruiserweight title, he looks like he didn't sleep for several days.
Yeah.
And like
even when he did win, he looked like he hadn't been sleeping.
Yeah, but more so when he lost the title.
Yeah.
You know, so the Neville level of sleep he needs. So. Anyway, that's our results now on New Japan Pro Wrestling. When we return, we will start talking about WWE Raw after this short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on 90.3 Near FM with the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our results of the week with WWE Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw!
A lot of talking points coming from Raw, like looking back at the whole thing.
A lot of talking points coming from both shows this week.
Exactly, yeah, so plenty to cover. We'll start with Kurt Angle's appearance on Miz TV, where Axel wearing a neck brace because Braun basically almost killed him last week. Miz runs down the Baron Corbin situation ahead of the Survivor Series. Great stuff from Miz as usual, but the thing is though, despite his efforts, even Miz's efforts at that match, is it still any impact whatsoever with it?
I don't think so.
That's the thing.
He very appropriately said that Baron Corbin is the toilet break of SmackDown Live. Unfortunately, this match is going to be the toilet break of Survivor Series, I think.
If it still goes ahead.
If it still goes ahead, which it will.
Think so? It's interesting because both Corbin and Miz are defending their titles next week.
Didn't announce that Miz was defending it next week.
I think he did.
I don't think so.
I'll get back to you on that. I'm pretty sure it did.
I know Corbin is next week against Sin Cara, which I don't see. I'm sorry, I don't see it happening.
Well, Sin Cara almost escaped a really bad injury this week as well, like in the live shows. Did you see about that?
No, I didn't.
Got a really bad knee injury. Like, I think he's okay. I think he's okay. Just escaped
He is competing at the moment. I heard that he got an injury, alright.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was like. But I'm
I'm
more worried about Jey Usos, to be fair, at the moment.
No, I'm convinced that's not real.
You sure?
The way it seems more of a work, in my opinion.
I don't know. It didn't. Okay.
I'm more convinced it's a work.
If it is a work, then I'm happy because I actually don't want to see anything happen. But that's SmackDown. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
No,
maybe you're right. I don't think he is. I could have sworn he was defending the title. But anyway, Angle said he supports Miz at Survivor Series, but Miz can't say the same. They banter back and forth, and then Miz shows footage of Stephanie basically cutting off Angle like big time last week. Angle then praised Raw, calling SmackDown the B show, leading to Miz showing footage of the SmackDown siege. He also shows the footage of Bryan being attacked by Kane, saying that Angle put the hit on Bryan. Miz said that Angle may retaliate tonight, and Angle disagreed, saying that he didn't organise the attack. Apologised to Daniel Bryan. Miz then talked about Angle losing control and brings up Braun's rampage last week and wants an apology for Curtis Axel. Angle then gets really angry and makes Miz back off. Angle then says that he put Braun on Team Raw on a condition. Well, obviously he deserved it, but also on the condition that he has a match with Miz on the nights.
Yep.
I'm not going to mention the guitar in the pole match.
Please don't.
Because quite frankly, it's just...
No, you've said enough.
It's basically an enhancement to a heatless match. We'll leave it at that. Let's see. Asuka took on Stacey Coates. The Finn Balor and Samoa Joe.
Good match.
Class match.
Good match.
It was supposed to be Titus O'Neil taking on Samoa Joe. Joe attacked Titus on the rampway, but choking him out. He says he says he doesn't give a S anymore. It's his. If someone's in his way, he'll put you down, and he's called him out to prove him wrong.
I can foresee this because of the fight that they had afterwards, and even after the match, even after they were announced on the team, they still went after each other. I can foresee probably Joe causing Balor to get knocked out of the Survivor Series,
or vice versa,
on at the night of the match. So I think more Joe, because Balor attacked Joe again after it was announced.
Yeah.
Balor got the last dig, and I think Joe will get the next. It depends on what happens this Monday at Raw.
I like this though because I
think it could lead to a feud, which I'll be very happy
I'm very happy about that too, because it puts both of them, it gives them something to do, and both really need something right now.
Yeah.
Especially Finn. Well, both of them.
Finn needs to just run away from anywhere that Bray Wyatt is. If he sees Bray Wyatt even in the back, just go to the opposite side of the arena.
Knowing how WWE have dealt with their bookings, like they've scrapped a few almost out of nothing. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we never mentioned Bray Wyatt like against Finn. It is for a while.
You mean Sister Abigail again?
Well, the thing is, I'm expecting to come up at some stage again eventually, not anytime soon.
Or unless, actually no, because knowing WWE booking, you know what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
Bray Wyatt's going to appear in the middle of the match and get Finn knocked out.
Well,
I can just see WWE booking doing that.
But he's part of Raw. Doesn't make any sense, really, does it?
Does it ever make sense when it comes to that?
Good points. Good points.
Like, all I have to see for poor WWE booking is Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax being happy together when supposedly they're meant to hate each other.
Yeah. It was Balor who missed the double stomp, and then Joe hit the ST Joe for a near fall. Joe looked for the clinch.
ST Joe?
That's what he calls it.
The Uranagi? Is it called an ST Joe?
That's what he calls it, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. To
be fair, I kind of wished he was who was up against last week? It was Apollo Crews, wasn't
I think so, yeah.
He went up against last week, and then he was doing that move, and then you could just hear him shouting to Apollo Crews saying, "Sit your ass down." I kind of hoped he continues saying that to people when he does it.
Why not? Like, it's that sort of thing. It's like it's nice to have a quote on a move. That's actually clever when you think about it. Like something like that. Like, no matter how creative or non-creative it is, it just works.
Yeah.
Fowler fights for the ropes to counter. Tried hitting a standing double stomp. Joe put Joe to the floor, and Balor wiped him out through the ropes. They brawl ringside and up the ramp to cause a double count out. And again, as you said, it's good because neither of men have lost, and the post match sets up both for Survivor Series and a feud afterwards. That's why it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Kurt, as I said, likes the drive and passion of them and put them both in the team, but Balor still insists on diving on Joe and the security afterwards. So Kurt called Daniel Bryan, who didn't answer, trying to apologize about last week. He met with Jason Jordan and put him in the Survivor Series team, saying that he needs someone to trust. Jordan said he promises not to let Kurt down. Now, I sort of get why Jordan is on the team. Because
I think the main event kind of proved why.
Main events?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I'll tell you when we get talking about the main event.
Well, I think the other thing as well is originally the plan was Roman Reigns, and Jordan was just like the next best thing, and now with this idea of New Day and
that's what I was
Shields,
thinking. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So no, but this is an advance. They're thinking like I think it was originally supposed to be Roman Reigns before. It was originally intended for New Day and Shields, but now, and it makes it more interesting. And in fact, you know what? On that note, I have a fantasy booking regarding this, and it's one actually that I'm thinking to myself, actually, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Bear with me now.
Let me ask you, do you think that's good for business?
Now, we've noticed in commentary, especially when Jason Jordan is in the match, Booker T slates him.
Booker T hates Jason Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just hates him so much.
Yeah, like every time it seems like, and strange because Booker T is a face commentator. It's usually Corey Graves is the heel, and here is Booker T as a color commentator, if you like. But he slates Jordan, and I think I know why.
Why?
I think, remember how I actually said this earlier on when it was announced that Jason Jordan, when it was announced that Jason Jordan was Kurt Angle's son. I don't think he is his son. I think he's Booker T's son. And maybe only Booker. Think about it. Booker T probably is the only one who knows that, and that's why he's bitter about it, and he's using Kurt as an opportunity.
No,
it makes so much sense when you think of it that way. No,
I don't think so. I think that's a push. I could see why.
Yeah,
but
no.
I think I think that's a bit of a push. That's really fantasy right there, booking.
But when you think about it, why else would Booker T have such a go at him? Why else? Think about it.
Because he doesn't like the fact that he's jumping the queue.
Well, he's not really. Like that's not his fault.
He is.
It's not his fault, so. And he hasn't. I don't see how he really is, to be honest with you. Oh, that's just my theory anyway. So you disagree?
Yeah, I don't see it. I can't. I can see where you're coming from for sure, but no, I think he just doesn't like him. I think because the reason why Booker T had to take the heel stance on this, because throughout the whole storyline it was Corey Graves that brought Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle together. Okay. So he can't really be against the idea of those two being like Kurt Angle helping him out and stuff like that.
So it's reversing the roles in for just him.
For him, yeah. I think there has to be a heel commentator, and Booker T is taking up the reins of that. Maybe. And he's going really, really, really heel on it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's not just heel. He's really heel.
Oh yeah. So it's like hatred, nearly.
That's what I mean. So like if it's just like, then I get it. But his hatred. Yeah. That's why it could make sense that he could be his son. In my view. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very briefly, Nia Jax and Alicia Fox took on Bayley and Nia Jax. Bayley's still over in the UK, which is at least is something. Yeah. In the match itself, though, the corner knees from Banks. What happened? No, sorry, it was Bayley who lost in this whole match. Sorry, it was Banks who finished off Fox with the Banks statement, made her tap. Good match. Post-match, though, Fox said that she needs Banks on the team. Didn't mention Bayley whatsoever. And the face of Bayley. Surely a heel turn is coming.
I can see where it comes from. Mm-hmm. I don't know though. But realistically, who's going to be the fifth person on that team if it's not Bayley?
Well, they're going to decide that next week, actually.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to go through the teams, through who's left. You've got Dana Brooke and Mickie James. Other than that,
exactly, and that's the three of them are facing each other in triple threats. So it's basically
Is that announced? Is it?
I heard that I saw the three names behind the Raw background, so I imagine that would be it. That would be a match for next week. Ooh. I wouldn't surprise me if it was Mickie James, especially in the back of the rivalry with Alexa Bliss.
I don't know. Mickie James just hasn't been heard of really.
What are you talking about? She had that rivalry with Alexa Bliss for the title.
Yeah. No, we haven't heard from her since then, though.
Oh, okay. Well, ish. I won't completely agree with you there. Miz then took on Braun Strowman, basically, despite Miz and things help. Strowman was Strowman, and he's very over now. It was all angle. Braun killing people, entertaining, and the crowd love roaring with him now. It's awesome.
Yeah, they do actually. Well, British crowds do. We'll see what happens when he gets back to the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so over. He is a face now.
He is a face, it is. Alexa Bliss very briefly mentions that she talked about Natalya, saying that she's a crazy cat lady and that she will run circles around her at SummerSlam. We have to talk about Enzo Mori, who arrived and did his usual shtick, if you like. He claimed, he was talking about a child who he was talking about, what's next for you, and unfortunately it's for Kalisto. Almost saying it is a bad thing. Kalisto then came out, looks like he was ready for Lucha Ting, but then dropped for the floor, took a seat, then came out Kurt Angle to Pete Dunne's music, announcing it'll be the cruiserweight to the bruiserweights.
That was so stupid.
Do you not like it?
I didn't like the fact that it was... No, I love the fact that Pete Dunne debuted.
Fantastic. It's because it was Kurt Angle who came out
to Pete Dunne's music. Why couldn't you just have Angle come out and say, "Oh, I've got someone here that wants to just shut you up," and then play Pete Dunne's music? The pop would have been so much bigger.
The pop itself when the music was announced was...
Yeah, but then you have Angle come out and not Pete Dunne. Also, it kind of ruins Pete Dunne.
How?
Because he's meant to be a heel.
Well,
he's meant to be the heel UK champion, and he was a face there. Clearly a face.
But he's very over at the moment, so...
I know he's over, but he's still meant to be a heel.
Yeah, but the fact is, if you're over heel, you might as well be a face. So, especially someone with Enzo, who's getting more and more annoying, you'd rather have him against him, In the end, it was Dunne rolled up Enzo for two, and followed by an Enziguri. Enzo got into a cradle with the ropes, but Kalisto there with the ref. Dunne then attacked him, Enzo from behind, and beat him with the bitter end. It's good that he was there, being the UK.
It's fantastic. I love the fact that Pete Dunne debuted on Raw. It kind of really caps off what a great year he's had.
Absolutely. This, I was almost. I just almost to the year where he had his trial.
The only problems that I had with it was the fact that, first of all, Kurt Angle came out to his music, which I didn't like, and the fact that he is meant to be a heel, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. Now, before we get to the tag team titles, there's one thing, just bringing up Braun Strowman again, because just thinking about it, when are they actually going to book the match with Kane?
I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm just thinking about it now, because here's Braun, who's going to be in Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a Raw pay-per-view next month, as far as I'm aware. So where would they book it then? Unless it's on the 25th anniversary. But when is that again?
Is it January?
Is it January?
No, it's December. It's in December.
December.
Yeah, it's in December.
So maybe then, but I was just thinking about, if they don't have a Raw pay-per-view, why would they have that rivalry then? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't know. This is just WWE booking.
Anyway, the main events, Rollins and Ambrose and Rollins against Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team titles. Typical. They have to go to Manchester with Liverpool jerseys, don't they? To be fair, well, why else would they get a negative reaction?
It was funny though, but
although Cesaro tried a City jersey first, which got half.
He did, yeah. They were actually, I remember the day after it.
It
was the day of Raw. They were actually at the Manchester City Stadium, the Etihad Stadium. And
don't tell me he showed up with a Liverpool jersey.
They were doing stuff for both WWE, and they were doing stuff for the Manchester City YouTube channel and stuff like that. And they were on the pitch taking penalties and stuff.
Okay.
He had his Liverpool jersey with him. He was told he couldn't put it on. And then when they were getting ready to put the penalties on, he just puts on his Liverpool jersey, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't." And I'm not going to tell Sheamus you can't put on your Liverpool jersey.
What do you mean I can't put on my Liverpool shirts?
I'm not going to tell that guy that big and say, "No, take that jersey off."
Apparently, Ziggler and Natalya were in Old Trafford as well. They're posing behind with jerseys and behind the dugout and stuff like that. So it's pretty
cool.
class. But anyway, the match itself, the Shield looked for dives, got cut off by Ambrose, who had a double crucifix powerbomb on the barricades. The Doomsday at the heist hit on Rollins for a really strong near fall. Then Sheamus tagged in and looked for the double team white noise, but Rollins made a save. It broke down to Dirty Deeds and the Frog Splash, which Cesaro and Naru just made a save, and then New Day arrived from the crowds. Everyone was confused. New Day cut the promo, running down Raw as the pre-show. Angle rides from the troops backstage to go and get them. They talk about the attack on Raw and how Raw did nothing about it. Angle and the troops arrived and sent them after New Day, but in the confusion of the whole thing, Sheamus did a bro kick and boom, new champions. It's kind of confusing because if they're under attack again, why would the match still be on them? That's one thing I'm a bit weary about. Like, you know, like why would they all of a sudden? Like, sorry, Angle was so surprised. Yeah. Like when the title changed hands, you know. Yeah.
I don't know. Like everything just stopped. Nothing. Like everything just stopped bar the match, obviously.
Yeah.
And obviously New Day did their thing, and then
that's what I think. It felt a bit flat to finish.
Yeah.
But it was because of that long delay. Because of
it was a really long delay, but
yeah,
the booking behind it. If they do what I think they're going to do, then fine, no issues. Because I kind of was looking forward to out of all the cross brand matches.
Yeah.
Rollins and Ambrose against the Usos was the match I was looking forward to most. I thought that was going to be a great match.
Yeah.
Now, Usos against Sheamus and Cesaro still going to be a really good match too.
Yeah, but then you have
but then, if it is the case that they're going to go ahead with Shield against New Day,
which looks very likely, that's a lot of fun.
It depends on what happens this week.
Yeah.
Roman's back this week.
Roman is confirmed to come back next week, as is Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So in that case, I like the title change because it creates two matches from one. Like, you know, so it's just the way it was booked. It was very confusing, but again, let's not forget the match was a beautiful work from all four men.
Yeah,
they work so well together. They have quality matches all the time. So no issues there whatsoever. So yeah, it's interesting to see what happens from Raw there. On that note, let's talk about WWE Smackdown.
Come on to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, Smackdown.
It started with Shane McMahon making his way to the ring. He said after Survivor Series, Smackdown will be the true Ace show. He hypes the Styles Mahal main event, with the winner facing Lesnar at the pay-per-view. He said that Styles and Stephanie will be held accountable for what happened to Daniel Bryan, and said Bryan will return next week. He also said that he is ready in case Raw tries to invade.
It got a bit of a boo, didn't it?
A wee bit.
A bit of a boo when he said he'd be back next week.
I think that's because
he wasn't back this week.
Yeah. No, you're right. That was cut off the original thing, actually, and the reason that was because Shane thought it was a negative reaction towards Bryan, as opposed to the fact that he wasn't there.
Yeah. So they wanted him back this week.
Yeah, exactly. The New Day arrived. They were praised for their appearance on Raw. They showed the footage of how Cesaro and Sheamus win the Raw titles, which does officially lead to New Day versus Shield at Survivor Series.
It hasn't been announced.
It was announced, I think, maybe informally as opposed to formally.
It hasn't been announced at all.
Hasn't it?
No.
It's been announced by so many back people, I suppose, as opposed to formally told up front that maybe it's just going to happen, I suppose. And anyway, they danced and they said it wasn't their intention to create a title change, but things happen when you go under siege. They led to the first siege and beat down Raw, and if Raw retaliates, they'd beat Raw back to Mondays. Zayn and Owens came out calling them all stupid. Sami saying that Shane is not cool. Owens saying that he beat Shane the Hell in the Cell, and now Shane is acting out and is punishing the roster for his shortcomings. They then claimed that they should have beaten up Raw, but they are men of integrity, and Shane set them up to fail. Then Shane said that their attitude are the reason why they're not representing SmackDown. Sami said he'll laugh when Raw beats SmackDown and Shane will be the one to blame. More arguing happened until Shane booked a match between Sami Zayn and Kofi. It ended with Kofi hit the SOS in the back of hit the SOS back into the ring on Zayn. Then Zayn covered Trouble with Paradise into a Blue Thunderbomb, kicked out at 2. Zayn then cut off Zayn with a kick, then worked a series of counters until Kofi hit a crossbody, and that was enough for the win. And then I think Owens got the win. Then as soon as he happened, and then as New Day came in, gone, and that's what probably caused the whole Rocket Swider and called home. So it's interesting because it could lead to, like, hopefully if everything is okay with Sami and Kevin Owens, it could lead to with them and New Day after Survivor Series, which I'm up for.
Could be, yeah. That could be an interesting rivalry. Definitely. Their promos would be fantastic, I believe.
Yeah,
and the matches would be great too.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting. I'll just mention Randy Orton and Rusev very briefly because, you know, I wanted Rusev Day. I personally want a Rusev Day, and it's not happening against Randy Orton.
But every day is Rusev Day.
But not against Randy Orton, isn't?
No, never against Randy Orton.
Yeah.
It's never Rusev Day against Randy Orton, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then
it was okay, the match, but again, it just felt
I don't know,
worse.
would you prefer Rusev in the team or would you prefer John Cena?
Well, apparently John Cena's
Thing
been
is,
announced.
John Cena had to be in the show somewhere.
Did
And
he
now
have
with
to be?
Jinder not being the champion, there was no point in putting him as the special guest for that match.
Where is Jinder in this position now?
Jinder's just not going to be on the pay-per-view now. Unless
He's gone from jobber to champion, straight back to jobber again.
Yeah, well, you have a theory about going back to champion very soon anyway.
Well, yes. I wouldn't call that a fancy booking as such. Because
No, I said theory, I didn't say fancy booking though.
We'll get onto that shortly though. We have to mention Becky Lynch and James Ellsworth first.
Yeah.
Here's James Ellsworth slating Becky, looking for Carmella, saying that she can't win against him because she's a woman. How this is Manchester, not womanchester. And there's no place for her. And here's Becky saying that there's a ballsy statement. It's a shame Ellsworth hasn't got any.
Yeah.
Very good work match. I really enjoyed this match actually. In the end, it was the exploder was hit on Ellsworth. He rolled to the floor. The entire women's roster stopped him from leaving.
Yeah.
And then when Ellsworth tried to beg her off and kiss her hand, straight into a disarmer, submitted win.
Yeah, they've continued this on with the live shows as well, where he actually took a Stone Cold Stunner off Becky Lynch at one of the live shows the day after, and the whole women's roster is beating him up at every show. Like obviously, Carmella
is one of them.
Her association
super kicked Ellsworth, turning another breakup angle. Afterwards, Charlotte met with Shane and Natalia, where Natalia interrupted and wants to not only face Bliss but also feels she should be the captain of the women's team. Shane then booked a title match next week. That's the match I was on to about. I mentioned some sort of title match. It wasn't maybe it wasn't the US title. It was this match where it'll be in Charlotte and Natalia for the women's title. So it could be against Charlotte.
Yeah, if I had to think that there's going to be a title change with all the title matches next week, I would say that one would probably be the most likely.
I wouldn't. For some reason, I'm still okay with Natalia and Alexa though.
Obviously,
Charlotte and Alexa is a more intriguing match. I agree.
Still am, but I think they want to put Charlotte hasn't been really being involved in the team, if you know what I mean. She hasn't been very vocal in the team aspect.
She's very quiet actually.
Yeah.
Which is very unlike her. Certainly since she's been a heel.
Yeah. So
she's very more vocal when she's a heel than she's a face. All right. So
I wouldn't be surprised to see a title change there.
Why not? Now the Usos took on Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin for the SmackDown tag titles. On the floor, what happened was Benjamin hit a spine buster and a pay dirt, I think is the move on Jimmy. On the floor, then Gable chop blocks Jey Uso and leads to a count out where he actually did look legit. He looked, as you said, he looked hurt or he sold it very well. I'm not convinced it's an injury. I think it's an incredibly good sell. Okay. In my opinion. It was a bit of a disappointing finish though. Like considering, I suppose it's booked for a reason. If it's really a work, but it certainly gives more focus to the match. It's between Cesaro and Sheamus, because it'll be interesting to see now if Cesaro and Sheamus will target that now at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And it's a nice call on the sense where it's almost in a way. Another thing I've noticed in this match, and I'll probably look back at this the other week. American Alpha seem very heelish, or Gable and Benjamin seem very heelish.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
they were definitely. I thought they've been quite heelish since when they went to that Under Siege thing.
Yeah.
Where Gable just went and destroyed Jason Jordan as soon as he got into the locker room. He jumped on him. I don't know. Well, the Usos have been acting a lot more face recently, so there had to be a heel team in this.
That's the problem. Again, it's gone back to Pete Dunne. They're so over as heels. They just turn to faces.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind Gable and Benjamin as a heel team. I think they're just as long as they're a team in general, because I think actually having them together is fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're actually starting to work well together as a tag team as well.
Of course.
So keep it going.
Now AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. First of all, what happened was, I think the way that Styles took out the two Singh brothers, like, you know, especially the way he jumped up onto the announce table and cross-lined them. That's such a way to attack someone like that. That was class. Like, he beat them down. He took out one out from the clothesline off the steps. I think it wasn't the steps, it was the announce table, wasn't it? Or one or two. But anyway, he went back in the ring. Mahal hit the Colossus, but Styles made the ropes. And that's where it got really interesting. Then it was like, oh, you know, we could win here. Yeah. Like, the crowd sensed it, like, got begging for him to get up, and then Mahal set Styles on top, followed and looked for a super coloss, but Styles fought it off and stunned him off the ropes. Yeah. Styles then got back up, hit his phenomenal forearm, 1, 2, 3. Such a that was a pop. Yeah. When they won that match, like,
such a shock.
It was for so many reasons. I mean,
like, we all thought that there could be something going on, that maybe there's a chance, but to actually see it happen.
It was apparently the booking of this match was literally last minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, that's the best match that Jinder has had as champion.
Oh, well, a question.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of confusion. Like, why is he champion? Why? Like, you know, I thought there's all this idea. Everyone.
He was champion to break into the network, to the Indian market.
Suppose.
And a couple of weeks before that, he leaves. A couple of weeks before, before they leave for India, he loses the title.
That's what I'm thinking. So,
and now you're thinking of something that's going to happen soon, don't you?
Well, if he loses the championship, and they had all this hype for Jinder Mahal, or so it seems, everyone was banking on the fact that they're making sure he's still going to be WWE champion up till the time he goes to India, and then he loses it. So the only logical reason is if he wins it back in India. But the thing is, AJ Styles isn't booked for it yet.
AJ Styles isn't booked to be in India.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it won't be.
There was, I remember I saw, this was a couple of weeks ago, I did see a news story going around that Jinder Mahal was being booked on the Indian shows as a 2-time WWE champion.
So there you go.
And I didn't take much notice of it then, but obviously it's a little more prevalent now. So what happens? Do you have him win it back the week after Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Just before they go over to India? That's not really fair on AJ Styles now. I can't imagine AJ Styles would agree to that.
That's true, but let's bear in mind also that, again, it is a last minute booking, and they're probably just making him champion for that small period. I don't like the idea that there'd be fast pacing like that. I really don't like that, especially someone like AJ Styles.
See, I don't like it, but also I'm not surprised if it is. Unfortunately.
In the end of the day, it leaves us in a nice situation going to Survivor Series. I mean, like, you know, we now have a way more intriguing match between AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, like 1,000% better.
Yeah,
match right now.
You know, and it's great. Like, and you know, it's what the fans wanted in a sense. Here's one who finally overcame Mahal, his strength, and even the Singhs and the sides, and now he's putting. And now he's incredibly over. It's a good move, you could say, and he's against Brock Lesnar. It makes it way more intriguing matches. And I think it's almost a favour in a way. You could almost see this as a favour because of what he did for TLC, coming all the way from Buenos Aires to take on Finn.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a way they could see it. And maybe if you presume then, like, there would be more sense then that it would be a quick reign, and then we'll be back into reign, and then we'll be back in Mahal's then when they go up to India.
Possibly. Possibly.
Yeah. You know, it's good, and it makes it, as I say, it makes it more intriguing. There is actually a few matches gone to next week's SmackDown, and you're right, Sin Cara will challenge Baron Corbin for the US title. Well, at least it was announced. I'm not sure what the status is now with Sin Cara, because he got that knee injury, as we talked about. And the New Day are scheduled to take, it was announced that New Day will take on Zayn and Owens, but again, we'll have to see. That one's probably up in the air as well, so on the back of the news. So let's quickly talk about 205. Now, 205 Live was very interesting this week because of the UK participation. Enzo Amore had a new show called The Zoe Show. This is probably one of the only ways you'll possibly watch 205 Live because
of the guys were on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Enzo called his new show a ratings. He called his new show a ratings draw, despite the crowd's chance of boring.
Yeah.
He slated Manchester, Kurt Angle, Cody Stowe, and Pete Dunne over Raw, and then invited the UK roster: Jordan Devlin, Tucker, James Drake, Mark Andrews, Tyler Bate, and Joseph Connors. What's so funny?
Oh, it was the whole thing that Tyler Bate and Enzo.
Oh yeah, I know
Because
exactly.
they're
what you're saying.
Eskimo brothers.
The Eskimo brothers.
Oh, and then they had a match afterwards as well.
Oh dear. Yeah, but it was such a one-sided match. It makes it kind of weird, even weirder.
Oh, excuse me.
If you don't know,
Enzo might have won the match, but I think in
lost
the
the
long
war.
run,
He
I
lost
think
the war.
Tyler won.
if you don't know what Eskimo brothers means, look up Urban
Look it up.
Dictionary immediately. We're not going to tell you on this show. We're not going to tell you on this show. But anyway, Enzo questioned them all with topical questions before suggesting that Tyler Bate should be his butler. After saying that his voice is very annoying, Bate punched him to make him retreat for the chance of "Take you, Tyler." Later on, Enzo challenged Tyler Bate to a match. You're laughing your whole way through this.
I just thought it was funny.
It is funny.
I thought it was funny.
Kalisto took on Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher has this really weird new music now. I preferred he had a heel music before that, and I kind of like that more. But anyway, before the match, Gallagher, in his hometown of Manchester, claimed that he's bigger than both Manchester and Britain. Great agility from Kalisto, though. Kalisto countered Gallagher reverse armbar into his Lee del Sol for the win, a good match. The team of Cedric Alexander and Mark Andrews took on James Drake and Joseph Connors to the image of each other, by the way. If you look at the pair of them, the only
They
difference
really
is one's wearing a brown jacket, one's wearing a denim jacket.
Yeah.
Good showing from Andrews, from Drake and Connors. All three of them made a good show of
By the
themselves.
way, you should give another shout out to Jade for her new design. Did you see the new design for t-shirt that she did for James Drake?
I don't think I've seen that.
You should look it up. It's
I'll check
really
it
good.
I'll check it out. Alexander hit a double handspring kick on both Drake and Connors before Andrews hit a shooting star press on Connors for the win. And then Tyler Bate took on Enzo Amore. Enzo dominated Tyler. Literally dominated. It was kind of a squash match.
Yeah, wasn't great for Tyler.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused over that.
For next,
Eventually beat him for the John Dunzo.
what?
The John Dunzo. Is that what he calls the move?
I don't know.
Anyway, Enzo continued to attack Taylor before Kalisto came out to save him. You know, it's very weird about this because you mentioned the whole Eskimo Brothers thing. It's the last time I remember a WWE match where there was actually such a thing was Matt Hardy and Edge, and that was one-sided first time round.
Whoa.
I'm just saying.
That's a little different, though.
I know, but it's probably awful to even compare it. But
I'm sure there's a lot more Eskimo Brother ones there that we actually aren't aware of.
And by God, we don't want to know.
I'm sure Brad Maddox and
don't
Xavier
even
Woods
go
were in
there.
the same
Don't
ring for a
even.
while.
Well, Brad Maddox and Xavier Woods.
I'm sure Xavier Woods and no, WrestleMania. Xavier Woods with the New Day was against Alberto Del Rio and the League of Nations.
Oh dear. WrestleMania Eskimo Brothers, huh? NXT. Heavy. I'm so flustered by that. Heavy Machinery took on two jobbers. There's this amazing spot. Do you watch NXT this week?
I did, yeah.
There's this amazing spot where Otis Dogovich did his Sky 2 High impressions doing the worm.
I saw.
That was impressive.
It was great.
That was
Into an
awesome.
elbow drop afterwards, yeah.
He dominated both. Anyway, Heavy Machinery dominated them both, squashing them. Both guys with their compactor double team move. Amber Moon responded to comments made by Mercedes Martinez that she hasn't got what it takes to win the big one. She challenged Martinez to a match next week. Kairi Sane took on Billie Kay despite attempts of interference from Peyton Royce, saying BK following her top rope elbow drop. Cassius Ohno approached William Regal, wanting to prove himself worthy to be in the NXT title picture again by challenging Lars Sullivan, which will be happening next week. That'll be very interesting.
No, it's not next week.
Oh,
it's actually going to be at TakeOver.
Oh, you're right. Excuse me. Yeah. You're right. My apologies.
Also, because we were talking about Pete Dunne, the match that was announced for TakeOver but won't be televised.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne against Johnny Gargano.
That's my last match in
What?
In the pre-show.
Why?
That's in the pre-show.
But it's not even on the pre-show. Like,
It mentions
they have
pre-show.
a pre-show, but they don't have a match on the pre-show. While they're talking, the match is happening. It's a dark match, and we don't get to see it. We don't get to see Johnny Gargano and Pete
Why
Dunne.
advertise it?
Why advertise it exactly? Why?
We're not going to see it for another week.
That's blue balls right there you're giving us.
That's not going to be until next week. Then you do realise that, because that's when they have their highlights. They're at their other stuff.
It's not fair.
It isn't fair because it's a class match.
I would rather have Cassius Ohno and Lars Sullivan be the dark match, which I can't see. I don't care about that.
But Lars Sullivan has story around him now.
I know, but come on, it's Pete Dunne against Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's a far better technical wrestling match. Velveteen Dream beat Cesar Barboni following his Death Valley bomb. After the match, Dream said that he is on Aleister Black's mind, and NXT Houston Lips Blacks will say his name. Again, loving that.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's
I
weird.
like that. I like the weird, but is that all you want? Is you just want Aleister Black to say your name?
It is weird, actually, when you think about it. Our minds are very dirty right now, aren't they?
Why do you attack him? Oh, because I want Aleister Black to say my name. All right. Okay.
Street Profits will face Tina Sabatelli and Riddick Moss next week after Street Profits challenge him backstage. And Roderick Strong took on Adam Cole all by himself. It was a very good match with plenty of near falls. Strong hit a Messiah backbreaker on Cole against the turnbuckle. Fish and O'Reilly then dragged Strong out of the ring to protect Cole, which made the ref stop the match. Offers of Pain joined Strong, and then Sanity came in from the crowd to start a brawl between the three teams. It was basically Spot City, resulting in Strong superplexing Cole on top of everyone to the outside. It was also announced that Drew McIntyre and Andrade Almas, which will be the title match at NXT Houston, will go face to face next week. I like that match.
Yeah, a lot of people are giving it grief. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's because they want someone who's more over. But Andrade Almas, I think, should every reason why he.
There's no reason why he shouldn't be part of the title at the moment.
He's improved so much under Zelina Vega as manager. It just makes so much sense.
And he always puts on good matches. Even before Vega was there, he's always been putting on good matches.
Yeah, the problem.
The only reason the last couple of takeovers, unfortunately, he's had the duty of welcoming the new blood and taking the loss to the new blood.
He's NXT Ziggler.
Yeah. So, but now he's getting the title match, and now he's actually proving his worth as well. How good he is.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that match. Now let's continue on the show with our previews of the week.
What? Look at what we have here, folks!
So first, let's talk about our previews of the week now. So there's a few coming up actually next week actually. So we talked about Kevin Nash, who'll be appearing for Pro Wrestling Ulster, which is this is the days coming up to ICW, where he's going to be the commissioner there for the nights in the Hydro show in Fear and Loathing 10. Yeah. He'll be doing a 2-suite Q&A on Friday 17th of November in the S13 in Belfast. There's still tickets available on tickettailor.com. As well, he'll be taking part as the guest commissioner also for PWU's Junction 5 Diesel Power, which will be happening the very next night, Saturday, November 18th, also in the C13 in Belfast. Tickets for that are also available on tickettailor.com. Matches announced include a 6-way match for the All Ulster Championship. Phil Boyd will be defending the title against Kano, Crawford, Nathan Byrne, Tim Steed and Michael May. Flash Morgan Webster will be taking on Justy 1-on-1. That should be a very interesting match.
That'd be a really good match.
Yeah. LJ Cleary and Nathan Martin, aka Team New School, they call themselves, who recently won the PWU tag team titles last time out, will be defending their titles. Their challenges haven't been confirmed yet. Dick Templeton, will defend his PW title against Sanchez, his old tag team partner. Tucker, JDP, Tron, Katie Harvey and the Queen's Court, CTP the Third and Rocky Star are all set to appear for that as well. Now, our friends from Low Blows will be presenting Survivor Series at Buskers on the Ball on Sunday, November 18th in Buskers on the Ball, Temple Bar in Dublin. There's still tickets available on eventbrite.ie. A lot of great things to look forward to. They're showing WWE Survivor Series in full. The return of Justin Shape. Apparently he's going to be making a promo about all things Irish wrestling. Should be interesting. I can't only imagine. They'll also be showing NXT War Games during the pre-show in full. They'll have a Survivor Series style table quiz and drinks promos on the night. They actually have a class one for like a bag of cans. Did you see about that?
Yeah, I saw that. You can get a bag of cans, I think, for €8 or something like that. It's 4 cans.
Yeah, but it's
in a bag.
Yeah. So it's really class. Now we should mention, second to Low Blows, they've also mentioned this week they're announcing for the first time ever they're going to be having a party next year for Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yep,
that's going to be. I can't wait for that.
Yep, I can't wait for it. It's I don't normally go to the Low Blow stuff. Normally because I prefer sitting at home and watching the stuff.
That's fine.
But I got myself a ticket for the Wrestle Kingdom one. I definitely am going to go and see that one. Yeah.
So I can't wait for that. It's going to be class. And it's great now because it's introducing more people to to New Japan. Like, we're huge fans, but it's great to see. I'm trying to push for new ones as well. And then in Sunday 2 weeks, then OTT will be back for Contenders 4 on Sunday, November 26th at the Ringside Club National Stadium in Dublin. There's still tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Some really good matches announced. Curtis Murray, Kenny Williams and Nathan Martin will face each other in a triple threat match. LJ Cleary, in response to what happened at OTT Vendetta, will take on the Fabulous Nikki. Former ICW champion Joe Coffey will take on Michael May. That's actually a very good match. I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah.
And then the team of Jordan Devlin and Scotty Davis will take on the up-and-coming team Aussie Open. Cal Fletcher and Mark Davis. That's going to be a very interesting match because I haven't seen much of Aussie Open, but I've heard really
I've seen a bit
about them.
It's going to be fantastic. You're in for a treat.
Also, a very cool initiative announced that the top 3 performers of that card will face British Strong Style and being deleted. So that can't get better than that, really.
No,
so that's definitely a great desire for whoever, or a great opportunity for whoever gets that. So that's our previews of the week. Now let's move on and finish off our show now with our yes nos.
Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no!
Now we talked about this earlier on during the show. Wrestlemania to ever take place at Wembley Stadium?
No,
never. Now a pay-per-view in general.
Yes, maybe not Wembley Stadium. They have an arena like Wembley Arena near the stadium, which can hold, I think, 20,000 or something like that.
They did that for NXT London a few, was it last year or the year before?
I think so. Year before.
Yeah,
Balor was still there. So
yeah, and they have Progress there, I think, next year as well.
Yeah,
I
forgot about that they did a takeover in London.
Yeah,
and that went very well.
It went awesomely well.
So I don't see why it wouldn't work. Normally they use NXT as, as an experiment.
Yeah,
to show you, because they did it with obviously that stupid shark cage. And
to be fair, they if they do SummerSlam in Barclays Centre, same place as they have the Brooklyn NXTs, why not just go for it?
And take over on the Saturday and then the thing on the Sunday. Yeah.
So that would make sense. Anyway, Rockstar Spuds to join 205 Live.
I heard it's gonna happen. So yeah.
Yeah, he'd be make a great fit, I think. Because I've
not seen a lot of Rockstar Spud, I'll be honest.
I've seen bits and pieces of him when he was in Impact Wrestling at the time. So it'll be interesting to see. Now I'm not sure you're gonna like this one. Hideo Itami to join the main roster via 205 Live.
I heard this rumor. I would like it. I would say no personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
The thing is with Hideo Itami, his momentum isn't the greatest, especially with his injuries. He
keeps getting injured. Probably it would be the best thing for him. And if he kicks Enzo around, I don't care.
You see, it could make it more intriguing to 205 Live. It could be that spark which could be missing from him. Which in that case, I'm okay with. And finally, Jinder Mahal to regain the title either before or in India.
Yes.
Okay. Where though? Which?
Before. Yeah.
Before that. So you think he'll beat AJ after Survivor Series, as you mentioned?
Yeah, I think probably the Smackdown after Survivor Series. He'll invoke his rematch clause, and there you go. So we'll have to see what happens there. Yeah. Anyway, that's all the time for we have this week on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide, right here on 90.3 Near FM, the electronic media collective podcast network, and all good podcasting providers. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/the Kickout Wrestling, and on Twitter at the Kickout Live. Myself on Dave Vandana and Daragh at Mars Bar.
And you can check us out live on Near FM for all the latest news and content we as usual, and all our content we covered. And I actually lost count on what I'm saying there. I think I'm catching your cold. I actually think I'm catching your cold, or the confusion from it, or something like that. I'm
sorry.
No worries about it. We'll leave on this. Obviously, this week is the 20th anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah.
So probably one of the most controversial situations. So we're not going to play, obviously, the actual scene. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, because listening to it is a little weird, and the guys obviously didn't know what was going on in commentary. So let's just play. Let's play theme music.
Let's play Brett's theme.
Yes.
Let's play Brett's theme. Yeah. So let's go out on that. So until next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been the Kickouts. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.